Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do this video because one, I had the time to do it, and two, I've gotten a lot of requests to do it. I wasn't planning to film this. I kind of just wanted to do this more so in a blog post, but I decided to might as well film it because I feel like there's still a lot of hype generating around this particular product, and also a lot of people are still really curious about it and want a little bit more info. I know myself, before I purchased it, I was looking around for more information about it, and I tried to find as much as I could on it. And yeah, so I was right there in the boat with you guys. Now it's my turn to give you my thoughts and opinions. So this is going to be a review of the MAC Prolongwear Nourishing Waterproof Foundation, which is this little guy right here. This is a new foundation to the MAC line. And something that I want you all to know right off the bat is that I personally have never used MAC foundations. Yes, believe it or not, that is true. And that may sound really crazy because you're thinking you're a makeup artist. Why haven't you ever used them? And well, to be honest with you, just 100% honesty, this is not taking a knock at MAC or trying to say anything negative about the brand, because as you guys know, I do use some of their other products. I've heard a lot of talk about the MAC foundations as far as them, how they work with skin types. When I used to work at Bobbi Brown and I work at the counter, obviously there was also a MAC counter where I worked at, and I had a lot of customers come over and convert from a MAC customer to a Bobbi Brown customer as far as foundations. I've heard a lot of claims that it breaks you out, that is very heavy, very cakey. And but the main concern of mine that kind of stuck out and that I would kind of see proof of for myself as far as dealing with clients' skin and stuff, and I would always ask them, what have you used, what are you using? And a lot of the times they would say that they were using the MAC Studio Fix. And yeah, they would claim that they had normal skin before and that after they started using the foundation it broke them out. I don't know how true those claims can be as far as a foundation permanently making you have acne-prone skin, because to me that seems a little far-fetched. You would think that after stop using a product, that problem wouldn't persist. The way you cleanse your skin has a lot to do with the way it's gonna look, and you know, if you're not properly cleansing your skin, especially when you're wearing a full coverage or heavier foundation, obviously your pores are gonna get clogged, and that leads to chances of acne or breakouts, whatever. So yeah, I myself, I know, and I will take pride in this till the day I take my last breath. I don't ever go to bed with my makeup on. Ever. I have never, ever, ever fallen asleep with my makeup on. Maybe I've taken a nap in it, like, you know, a 30-minute cat nap or something, but I've never gone to bed, got my full 8 hours night's rest with a full face of makeup on, even with just eye makeup on or the slightest bit of makeup on. I will make it a point to wake myself up even if I've fallen asleep and cleanse my face, because I can't take that risk. One, I have oily skin. Two, I am prone to blackheads and breakouts. Because of my oily skin, I have an overproduction of, you know, sebum. I can't afford to have my skin be bad and have it be my fault in the sense that I didn't take good enough care of it. Me knowing that I'm someone that I do take care of my skin regularly, and also this is a new foundation in the MAC lineup, I decided to go ahead and just try it. I wish I had more to base off of as far as their other foundations, or especially their other popular foundations, but I don't. So if you guys are hoping to find a comparison to how they compare to other MAC foundations, I'm sorry, but this is not going to be that video. I have been using it, let's see, maybe for about 2 weeks already. I got it right before I left to Dallas. I took it with me to Dallas, so that was a big risk on my end because, like I said, I had never used it before. And one, I just love how tiny it is. It is actually a relatively small bottle or tube, and yeah, it just seemed really travel friendly, and I just wanted to see. Okay, funny thing, my best friend just texted me, and she actually just got this foundation also, and she says, my friend, I've talked about her before, she's a NARS junkie, like she loves NARS, she swears by the brand. She just texted me, I think I may like my foundation, I think I may like that foundation better than the NARS, and she's talking about this one. So here's the proof of it right here. I'm gonna put you on blast, Sam, sorry. There she is admitting to that she's liking this foundation more than the NARS one with all her silly emojis. Anyway, okay, so yeah, I did take it with me. So on the first day that I left for Dallas, I did travel by plane. Oh my god. If you guys travel often, or you know, you've ever been on a plane before, it's the worst to wear makeup when you're like flying, because it's a bunch of recycled air, you're tired, you know, it's just like your skin gets really tired itself. I never look good coming off a plane, like never, until now. This foundation held up really, really well on that long travel day that I had. I mean, I had put this on at the beginning, traveled from McAllen all the way to Dallas, 2 different planes. I mean, when I got to the hotel and when I finally took off my makeup, it still looked really good. And I was just most impressed with the fact that it didn't look oily. It really helped control oil, but it didn't make me look dry or matte. So I really, really like that. I'm going to read off some of the stuff that it claims off of the MAC website, and then I'll go into my personal findings. So some of the key selling points to this foundation are that, 1, it can be used as a foundation or concealer. It has a 24-hour wear. It blends well into skin with a medium to full coverage, weightless coverage, has a natural satin finish. So those are the main claims off of this product from the MAC website. What I will say and what I will agree with, yes, it can be used as a concealer, but keep in mind it's going to be a lightweight concealer, nowhere near the Prolongwear concealer. It's a much lighter weight and not as full coverage as the Prolongwear. It is a medium to full coverage. It is medium and it can be built up. I would say it's closer to full than medium, but I still wouldn't classify it as a totally full coverage. Definitely not as full as Kat Von D Lock-It or as Estee Lauder Double Wear. It definitely has a little bit, it can be more on the lighter weight side and sheer side, but even though it does give good coverage, I will also agree that it is very weightless. It does not feel thick at all. I've had a lot of people tell me that the Studio Fix foundation has a very strong scent to it. It like smells like makeup. This one does not. It is very, very lightweight, but gives an awesome and excellent coverage. 24-hour wear. I don't know about that because, like I mentioned before, with my other reviews of 24-hour foundations, I don't ever have foundation on my face for that long, so I can't tell you that much, but I will say that it does give a good solid 12 hours. And yes, it does have a natural satin finish. Like I said before, it is not matte. It is very, very natural looking. I will say if you are oily, this is probably a really good foundation for you in the sense that it's not going to mattify your skin a lot and make you look cakey. It's going to help control your oil, but it's going to make you look very natural. So that is a big plus for me. It's $32 off of the MAC website. I believe it's the same price. I bought it at my local Macy's, so I think it was the same price. I thought 34 for some reason, but I think it is 32. My only complaint about this foundation, and it's going to be kind of a silly one because I'm going to sound really like a big penny pincher here, but it's only 0.84 fluid ounces, and usually, more often than not, all foundations are 1 fluid ounce. So the fact that I'm paying $32 for not a full ounce kind of just irks me a little bit, but it's okay and understandable. But like I said, that's probably the only thing that if I had to complain about this would be my biggest complaint. And I got the color NC25. I think I could have gone a shade lighter, realistically speaking, but I do want something with more yellow in it, and this seemed to be the amount of warmth that I like in my foundation. So I did get one of my friends that works at MAC to color match me, and I got her opinion because she's way more familiar with the MAC products and if they oxidize or stuff like that. It oxidizes slightly as it dries, but not... It oxidizes slightly as it dries, but not as you get oilier, which if you are oily, you will find that foundations by the end of the day sometimes may look way darker because it's oxidizing with your oils. This one doesn't do that. It actually works really well with your natural oils. It just changes a little bit once it's set and dry, not as it wears. So I hope that makes sense. So you can apply this different ways also. You can use it with your fingers, with a sponge, a beauty blender, or with your brush. I am applying it in this video with a brush. So I'm going to cut to the clip where I'm applying it without any makeup on, and you guys can see how well it works in action. So here we go. So before I apply my foundation, I am going to prime my face, and I did just wash it and I only toned, so I haven't moisturized. So I am going to be using my Too Faced Hangover RX primer. I love to use this primer when, let's say, I'm going to be redoing my makeup throughout the day and I need like a little bit of a refresher, but I don't want to take the whole time to do all of my normal skincare steps. This really just moisturizes the skin really well, and also if you have dry skin, also it smells really good. And it just creates a nice smooth surface for you to apply makeup, not really so much for pore filling and stuff. Okay, and I do have a little bit of corrector underneath my eyes already. It's my Bobbi Brown Tinted Eye Brightener, so that's why there's probably a little bit of crease action happening. So with the foundation, I do like to do my usual apply on the back of the hand and then just kind of dot around my face and then stipple it out or buff it in, whatever term you like to use. So I'm taking about that much right there on the back of my hand, and I'm going to use this to pretty much just distribute it on my face. So I'm going to do half of my face first, and then I'm also going to show you the comparison side by side without foundation, with foundation. Also, I had a few little friends kind of show up like weirdly on the exact same sides of my face, which is just kind of right along my jawline. So if you can see right now, there's like a little 2 red dots here, and then there's some right over here. That way you can kind of see how well it covers up blemishes. So I have my mirror. So I kind of like to lightly pat first around. Actually, this is kind of like a new way of applying foundation. I kind of like to apply the dots more spread out so than what I used to. I feel like I get more use out of the product. So with this, we're going to buff it all out. I am using my Bobbi Brown full coverage face brush as usual. And then I'm going to stipple it in. As you can tell, I'm not swirling. I'm kind of like pressing it into my skin. This is another great foundation to use with a beauty blender, just FYI. It's not a really thick consistency. It's actually really, really lightweight. I'm trying really hard not to get it on my lashes. And then I'm just going to kind of drag it down my neck a little bit because my face is always a little bit more paler than my neck. Okay, so this side has foundation, this side does not. Right off the bat, the first thing you can tell obviously is how much it took away my redness that I usually have. I love the color, I love the finish. You guys can kind of see the side-by-side comparison. Also, you can see how well it's covered up any blemishes that I have. Another good thing is, and I'll bring you in closer once I do this half, is how well it lays over pores. And so without foundation, with foundation. So I'm going to do the other half of my face now, and I'm going to really zoom you guys in. Okay, foundation is on all over now. I'm going to zoom you in. Okay, so now we're all up close and personal. As you can tell, I still didn't touch up underneath my eyes. I don't have any foundation under there. It's just that corrector, so that's why it looks a lot more pink than the rest of my face. But just so you guys can see the finish of this foundation up close. Here's my forehead. And as you can see the blemishes I was pointing out earlier. So up close and personal, you can see how well it lays over pores. That's my #1 biggest impression with this foundation. Also, I like the fact that it's not a matte finish. It still has a very natural look to it. I actually kind of feel like it looks maybe more radiant than what you would find in a long wearing foundation. So that's also a big plus. Kind of really similar to the NARS All Day Luminous foundation in the sense that it's not a matte finish. I love the color, like I mentioned before, and I'm really just super pleased with this foundation. And I think like what you see on camera is just kind of speaking for itself. So I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I am back, and I hope you guys could really see the difference on how well this foundation works as you are applying it. I did use some concealer. I did use my MAC Prolongwear concealer underneath my eyes and just a little bit on my nose, forehead, but I'm telling you I use the slightest amount, not as much as I normally use, because I don't feel the need to use as much with this foundation. It really does well with covering up my redness, which is what I usually use my concealer for anyway. I'm going to zoom you in really close so you can see how the rest of my makeup, as far as like my bronzer and blush and highlight, lay over this foundation. So here is an up close and personal look. I really just want to point out the fact, and this is probably my main, this is just what I really enjoy about this foundation, is the fact of how well it lays over pores. Keep in mind, I didn't use a filling or smoothing primer. I just used my Too Faced Hangover RX, which is not claimed to do that. It's silicone free. This is really just like a moisturizer. So as you can tell, without a silicone based primer or a smoothing or blurring primer, this already does a lot of that on its own, which I appreciate immensely. It is just phenomenal. So yeah. Oh, also you can see how well it's covered up some blemishes, you know. Not totally full coverage. I did do one layer. You can do a second layer if you want to, but honestly I don't feel the need to because I am really happy with this finish. Let me zoom back out. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up how I feel about this foundation. Honestly, I am very pleased, and I'm so glad that this was my first MAC purchase or MAC foundation purchase, because I just don't know if I would have felt the same way if I had tried the more traditional or popular MAC foundations out there that everyone uses already. I do feel like this is very similar to the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. The L'Oreal Infallible is probably just a little bit more matte, and their color range is a little bit different, but I mean obviously it's going to be because MAC has all of their staple shades already. So I will say though, I haven't tried to see if it is waterproof, but which makes me think this is just a really good summertime foundation. The closest that I think I've seen it be to waterproof, or that I'm able to test it, is it's been raining like crazy here in South Texas, and pretty much in Texas all over. I'm sure you guys have seen that all on the news. But I have gotten caught in the rain a couple of times, not like drenched, but you know, a few sprinkles here or there. And I always get so bummed because I'm like, oh, there goes my makeup. But this actually held up really well in this wet weather that we've been having. Also, it holds up really well in humidity, which is also another big plus of mine. So I will say that the waterproof claim is probably really true. This would be a great foundation to try when you're on vacation at the beach or something like that, where you are going to be around a lot of water. So definitely, you guys, if you're going to be traveling maybe to somewhere tropical, or you know you're going to be out in the pool or doing some kind of water activities, give this foundation a try and see if it holds up. But honestly, this has my full stamp of approval. I really do enjoy it. Like I said, the only dislike is the price and ounce that you get with it, or lack of 1 fluid ounce, but it's not that big where it's going to stop me from probably repurchasing it or saying something negative or not recommending it. I actually would recommend this foundation. It's really good. It's been good to me. So yeah. Also, before I finish this video, I just want to say, I know I was supposed to do a follow-up with the Maybelline Better Skin, and I am going to do a follow-up, but it's going to be in a blog post, so look out for that on Wednesday at kateyed.com. I will have a blog post on everything that I found using this foundation, if it does hold up to the claim about having better skin. But I have mentioned in one of my past videos recently that I've really been liking my skin lately, and that's a little hint hint. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. If I did not answer a question that you may have about this foundation, please feel free to ask me down below, and I will answer you as soon as I can, because I do check the comments pretty frequently and I try to get back to them all at once. But yeah, if you guys have a request to see anything else or any other foundation review or something like that, please let me know down below also in the comments. Thumbs up this video if you liked it or found it informative. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys! You guys, my friend just texted me again, and this was her claim, if this helps anybody else out there. Can y'all read that? I don't know if you can, but it says that she's been wearing it all day, and usually with the NARS that she's super oily, but right now she's not, and that she has a little bit of shine, but it's nothing compared to the NARS one. She goes, and she didn't even set it. And as far as which NARS foundation she's talking about the NARS All Day Luminous foundation, as I mentioned earlier. So, goes to show you, it's changing people's minds.